think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win.
We arrived at this trial and ultimately today at this verdict in the same manner as every other case that comes through the courtroom doors, by following the facts and the law and doing so without fear or favor.
An historic verdict today. A jury unanimously found Donald Trump guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records.
The trial was in connection to hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels. Sentencing is set for more than a month away, but Trump insists this fight is not over.
Washington correspondent Hannah Brandt has the latest.
I'm a very innocent man.
In a stunning verdict, a New York jury found former President Donald Trump guilty of 34 felony charges. Prosecutors convinced the jurors that Trump illegally falsified business records to cover up a hush money scheme. But the former president complains the trial wasn't fair.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
The charges could carry jail time for former President Trump. That will be up to the judge. Sentencing is scheduled for July 11th, but Trump's legal team is expected to appeal the decision.
And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over.
The Biden campaign is applauding the verdict, saying in a statement, "In New York today, we saw that no one is above the law." Donald Trump has always mistakenly believed he would never face consequences for breaking the law for his own personal gain.
Reaction is coming in from Ohio lawmakers tonight. In a statement, Republican Senator J.D. Vance called today's verdict an absolute miscarriage of justice that will no doubt be subject to appeal.
Republican Congressman Jim Jordan is railing against the verdict, saying it shows what happens when the justice system is weaponized by partisan prosecutors and that the trial was designed to keep Trump off the campaign trail. We did reach out to Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown and Congresswoman Joyce Beatty for a reaction. We've not yet heard back.
Joining us tonight, we have two political strategists. Republican Mahek Cook is with us, as well as Democrat Brian Rothberg.
And, you know, supporters of Donald Trump, they say this verdict is evidence that the system is rigged. Others say that it's evidence that no one is above the law. So was it the justice system itself? I'll start with you, that was on trial here.
I think it's a really sad day for one thing. It's not one for us all to be proud of. But the fact of the matter is there was a court, there was a jury, there was a decision. This is a felony conviction. It was over paying a porn star, which people seem to forget, which is just horrible anyways. But the bottom line is we do have a justice system, and it doesn't recognize anybody different from the poorest to the wealthiest, from the powerful to the least powerful.
And your reaction to that?
Well, Brian, thank you for saying this was a sad day, because it truly is a sad day for the rule of law. And I would say this if Joe Biden was on trial today. The New York system was truly an unjust miscarriage of justice. When you have a judge that is given twice to Joe Biden, he is on Team Biden, and he made sure every single ruling, including jury instructions, cut against former President Trump. And we have to be very careful here. We're talking about 34 different counts, but these are business records at best. The statute of limitations expired 7 years ago, so we still don't know what this underlying crime was. And let me tell you what this judge said. This judge said, hey, jury, you get to pick the underlying crime. We don't even have to be unanimous about this. That is the biggest miscarriage of justice. That is exactly what the judge said.
All of them had to agree.
That is not correct,
That was
Brian.
a high standard. That was a high standard.
Brian, I
and
respectfully disagree.
But heck, this is a candidate when he ran who said of Hillary Clinton, lock her up, for no reason. This is a guy who has sought to weaponize the very system he claims is weaponized against him. He's now got a civil court decision against him. He's now got a criminal court decision against him. I don't know why conservatives who are so moral are supporting this.
Well, you're talking about moral, and I have to talk about the rule of law. It's not my morals today that are front and center. You talked about payment to a porn star. I want to make sure we make one
thing that's clear. They did have to unanimously agree on the charges. That's the fact. They had to have unanimous agreement on the 34 charges. The underlying charge was separate from what they actually had to convict.
Let's move forward. I want to talk about how this affects the campaign. This also, we have sentencing set for July 11th. That's just 4 days before the Republican National Convention. Is this going to be a cloud over that gathering?
I don't believe so, because Judgment Day for most Republicans and now independents and so many other voters that are leaving Biden's base in droves. That's going to be on November 5th. November 5th will be a verdict on where Americans want to prosper in terms of the economy, in terms of immigration, because so far you've put President Trump on trial and locked him in a court against his will, when really we should be talking about the economy. 40-year high inflation today. Ohioans are paying over 20%. We have a 20% Biden tax. We have illegal immigrants.
Oh,
Who's
come
talking
on,
about
Mahak.
Butler
Let's
County today
get back
and the
to the
illegal
case.
immigrant that was killed? Well, that's the problem, is everybody's so fixated on this case. It's a headline at best for Joe Biden. We're going to move on
presidential
tomorrow.
candidate.
This is extremely historic. You just heard her talking about the candidates, the voters, the electorate, the Republicans, the independent. How will this decision today affect them?
It's going to affect people who are on the bubble, but it's also going to affect the American political system for a long time. I mean, the concept that our court system is somehow rigged politically because of somebody who has been convicted of something legitimately now says anything that he does wrong is rigged is just abhorrent to the rule of law. I don't know how you justify this as a rule of law issue. He has attacked the system. He's attacked the judge personally. He's attacked the judge's daughter. I mean, nobody as a defendant does that.
Just very quickly, we're almost out of time. This took them 9 hours over 2 days. Some people said that was very quick. Almost out of time, but was that an indication that the evidence was strong, or an indication that, as some of his critics say, their minds were made up?
I think it's evidence that they took it very seriously, that this wasn't a kangaroo court that Jim Jordan referred to. They took it seriously. They looked at the evidence.
Well, I think that the evidence was very confusing, and the jury instructions were very confusing because they didn't allow a former Elections Commission attorney to testify that this wasn't an illegal campaign contribution. They also didn't allow for any definition of what is legal versus illegal. Hush money payments, believe it or not, they're legal. Do we like them? And we can talk about morals,
and then
but
there's
that's
the
not
next
what the
step.
court should have been ruling on.
There's another added layer to that. We're out of time. Got to say thank you both for being here, and you just got in from New York this afternoon, so off the plane into the station. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, both of you.
NBC4 will bring you the latest updates to this story as it develops. To see the former president's full remarks as well as a reaction from more Ohio leaders, visit our website, NBC4i.com.